name is Aliyah Febra. I'm the lead consultant at Nubianette Consulting. And a lot has been going on around the world about the impact of COVID-19 on businesses. And before I go into a lot of the data that we've gathered, I will first of all introduce who we are. First of all, we are Nubianette Consulting, and we provide legal business development and marketing to providers in the legal service industry. We've been doing that for quite a while, and we also service businesses in the technology space as well as the creative space. So, like I said, my name is Ali Afegwa, and you can call me Ali. Feel free to chat. Feel free to put in your questions. If you have questions, feel free to type them in on the chat space, the space for chat messages, and I'll proceed with the masterclass. You can go ahead and visit our website after this session to view a bit more, to view some of our blog posts, as well as understand a bit more what our services entail. We are based in Lagos, Nigeria, and you can reach us anytime on our email address. Today's session is in support of the frontliners. Of course, Happy Coffee is providing relief packs for the frontliners and health workers in the fight against COVID-19. So if you'd like to purchase a relief pack, it costs just 5,000 naira, and it will be going to a very worthy cause. So there's a link here you can click on to order a relief pack, and this is also available on our social media platforms as well. Or you can visit the Happy Coffee Instagram account to find more details on how to get a pack. It comes with Happy Coffee grounds, which are really good. I've tried them, really excellent coffee, as well as the manual coffee maker. This coffee maker is designed for brewing your coffee anywhere, so you can try that, and it's really good coffee. So we'll dive right in. What is the economic impact of COVID-19 on the legal industry? Legal service providers service various industries, and as you may know, a lot of these industries are suffering at the moment in terms of the lockdowns, compulsory lockdowns, and limitation of movement in various countries. And in fact, in most parts of the world, there is a compulsory restriction of movement of people, which affects businesses as well. So what happens when you can't access your business? You can't really interact with your customers as you normally do. Offices are shut down. There are so many implications to this, and it affects every other industry. Now, back to the legal service industry. When you look at the impact it's had, you have to look at it from the type of law firm or the type of legal service provider you're dealing with. Now, the legal service industry operates in various fields or various sectors in the economy, like I mentioned. And one main effect or one main impact is not really an economic impact, but it could lead to better economic impact for the legal service industry. And that is the digital transformation that's been experienced. I was speaking to a friend some time ago, and he mentioned that it was like it happened overnight. It was instantaneous. The type of the digital transformation that occurred. Now we're talking about transformation from the consumers, from service providers, and also from the academic institutions, and also the judicial system. In countries like Nigeria, the courts are on lockdown right now, which means proceedings are limited in terms of litigation and the likes. However, when it comes to digital transformation, I'm sure people are exploring more digital ways of resolving disputes through maybe via voice calls or other video conferencing options. And anyway, this takes me to my next point of remote working. Remote working had been under debate in a lot of circles in the legal industry, and this involves the contemplation if work employees in law firms and legal service firms should work from home. There were very few, I would say 2% number of firms that had deployed this in some form, but it became overnight, it became the norm. Everybody is working from home now. So I wonder why there was a very long debate about remote working and also the use of more digital tools in streamlining services and also making things more compact. Now, work is being done from home. People can't move around because of the risk of spreading the virus and also contacting the virus, and also offices are on lockdown. So one of the benefits here, of course, is that if you operate in an office, you're probably saving money. So the argument that there will be loss of money from maybe working from home, I think it is too early. I think it is important for us to look at what the actual impact will be before we look at the loss. There's some losses that will happen immediately, and you notice how much money you're losing. But I think in this case, working from home actually saves money and helps you to have more productive teams and employees. We're moving on now to the next industry, the oil industry. Now, this industry, I would say, has been shattered by the COVID-19. It's affected the demand for oil, and prices have dropped significantly. Now, we mentioned earlier in our infographic that there's been a 60% decline in oil prices, which means that oil and gas investments were cut by will be cut by over $30 billion globally, and it's a figure that might have increased since we published the impact assessment infographic some time ago. So the oil industry is feeling a large impact from the shutdown, and Nigeria is one of the countries that are affected as well. When nobody wants your oil right now, you have to resort to other means of strengthening your economy. And I would say the country is struggling right now because of this impact. And it would be a good cushion for countries that have invested significantly in renewable energy. Renewable energy is our next industry on the list. And in terms of renewable energy, the renewable industry has been impacted. I would say it's a bit unclear right now how the renewable energy has been impacted. And it's at a stage where a lot of investment is still expected. Last year, it was predicted that this 2020 will be a growth phase, a growth year, a year for renewed growth for the renewable energy sector. And that is threatened right now. I'll just give you a bit of, I'll give you a few figures from 2018 and 2019, just to have a glimpse of how much investment renewable energy got. So for 2018, the renewable energy sector got $280.2 billion, and in 2019, it got $282.2 billion. So you notice an increase from 2018 to 2019, but it will be a sharp drop from 2019 into 2020 if investments don't resume at a decent time. Moving on now to moving on now to the tourism industry. The tourism industry has can be categorized into the hotel industry and the aviation industry. There might be other parts of the tourism industry, but I'll just break it down from those two perspectives. Now, for first of all, the tourism industry accounts for 10% of global GDP. And at the end of the outbreak, it take up to 10 months for the industry to recover. I would say to take longer for some businesses, especially in the aviation industry, in less developed countries where some of these businesses were struggling to begin with. Now, in travel restrictions, in terms of the losses recorded in the aviation industry, travel restrictions have made the aviation industry making a loss of over $880 billion. Now, that's a huge amount to lose. Now, recovering that would take even longer than 10 months as predicted. And the hotel industry is another industry that comprises of various sizes of businesses. You have some startups, while you have more established chains and international or local chains. And all the investments are on hold currently as the outbreak persists because a lot of the infections recorded in some countries were traced back to certain hotels or certain tourist destinations. So it's on hold for now. I don't think investing in a hotel is considered a viable investment at this point. So there's been a drop of 75%. I would say over 75% in revenue recorded globally, and I would say partial to full closure in most parts of the world, which is a significant blow to this industry. The tourism industry suffers, and I would like to circle back to legal service providers that service the tourism industry. If your clients are going to be affected by these closures and shutdowns, which means you'll be having quite a bit of work, yes, but would it be profitable work? Would it be effective in terms of proper use of billable hours? Would you be doing damage control, or would there be dispute resolution involved? I think a lot of questions would need to will come up regarding how to deal with suffering businesses in this period.